Do opening this time and I'll be closing.
Sure.
All right, I think we are ready to begin. Brian, can you confirm that our court reporter is online? Thank you, sir. Let's go on the record. Today is July 22nd, 2025. The time is 1:17 p.m. The question and answer portion, which you just participated in, is concluded. And if you did attend that, I do hope that you were able to get all of your questions answered. What we will do now is start the comment portion of the hearing. The Missouri Public Service Commission has set this time for a local public hearing to give members of the public a chance to comment about Liberty's request for a rate increase. That is in case number ER-2024-0261. My name is Charles Hatcher. I am the regulatory law judge that will oversee this hearing. The commission regulates the rates charged by public utility companies in Missouri to ensure that those rates are just and reasonable. The commission also regulates the quality of service and safety of operations of public utilities. The commission is made up of 5 commissioners. The commission's chair, Kayla Hahn, and Commissioner John Mitchell are with me here today. Also in attendance are Commissioners Maida Coleman and Glenn Kolkmeyer. They are on our computer connection and will be listening online. And there is one vacancy at the moment on the commission. The commissioners are appointed by the governor and confirmed by the Senate. The commission employs a staff of engineers, accountants, attorneys, financial analysts, and other specialists in the field of utility regulation. And Commissioner Mitchell, would you like to make opening comments?
Sure. Thank you, Judge. On behalf of the entire commission, I'd like to welcome you here this afternoon. This is the very first step in this rate proceeding, and it's an important step because it's the commission's really only chance to get to hear directly from you, the customers, and your thoughts and testimony on this matter are very important to us. And I want to assure you that your thoughts and your comments will be taken seriously and taken to heart as we move through this process. So thank you for being here. We genuinely appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner. Let's move to having the parties introduce themselves. First for Liberty.
Diana Carter for the Empire District Electric Company, doing business as Liberty.
Thank you. And for the staff of the commission.
Paul Graham for the staff of the Missouri Public Service Commission.
Thank you. And the Office of the Public Counsel.
Nathan Williams, Chief Deputy Public Counsel, appearing on behalf of the public and the Office of the Public Counsel.
Thank you. And we did have several interveners in this case. Did any of those counsel want to introduce themselves on the record? All right, hearing none. This is a fairly well-attended hearing, which is great, as the commission does want to hear from the public. And we also do want to give everyone the opportunity to speak. So I will have to be limiting comments to 3 minutes each. I currently have a little over 30 persons signed up to comment, and we will need to end the hearing today at 3 o'clock. The commission has another hearing in this case, another public comment session going on tonight. That'll start at 6, and that is a little over an hour drive away. We also need to get all of the staff and equipment to the next location. So I will be letting everyone know when your 3 minutes are up. We also have a timer going on in the audience. After you do come up and give your comments, I'll ask for you to stay for just a second to see if any of the commissioners or council have any questions. And speaking of questions, I did want to let everyone know that the commissioners and myself will not be able to answer questions for you today. That's what the question and answer portion was for. This is for the commissioners to hear your information, but since they're still deciding the case, they won't be able to really comment on what your question or your comment might be, because they need to wait until after all of the evidence is in, and then they'll make an official ruling on the case. With that in mind, I will go ahead and start calling names, and I will do my best to read and pronounce your name correctly. I apologize. I apologize in advance. This happens to me every hearing. I will accidentally mispronounce some names. The first name I have is Connie Horton. I'm also going to read the next few names so that those persons are ready and we can start getting people up to the microphone. Cheryl Arledge and Leo Arledge are the next two names. Ms. Horton, I'd like to swear you in first. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. Please state and spell your name for the court reporter.
Connie Horton, ConnieHorton.
Thank you, Ms. Horton, and please go ahead and give your comments.
My comments mainly have to do with the utilities that my daughter has. I also am, you can't hear? Okay.
Yes, can we get the back doors closed? It's a little hard to hear in here. And these microphones are a little special.
Okay.
You have to kind of directly.
Get right on them.
Yes, you're on, and I will restart your 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. My daughter lives out towards the Sparta area. I also have a home out towards Sparta. My daughter's utility bills for the winter were really high, and she had her thermostat set at 58 degrees. Her bill came in at, let me look real quick, $435 at a 58-degree temperature. I ended up spending $400 myself on wood just so that she could run her wood stove. She ended up sleeping in the living room, and she does have insulation and everything in her house. We could not understand why her bill was so high. And if you increase this by 30–40%, she said she would go ahead and just basically turn off her furnace. It's a brand new furnace, new electric, new furnace, everything. But she said, I cannot afford it, Mom. She said, I'm going to have to just do wood heat this winter. So for the young people and the people that are retired with a fixed income, house payments or rent, they cannot afford 40%, 30%. I understand a little bit to keep things up, but this is a little bit on the outrageous side, and that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Ms. Horton. Were there any questions for Ms. Horton? Hearing none. Thank you. I
Thank you.
appreciate you being here today. And Cheryl Arledge, I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm here representing my little food bank in Sparta, Missouri.
Before you get started, let me swear you in real quick.
Okay.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And please state and spell your name for our
It's-
court reporter.
Cheryl Arledge, Cheryl and Arledge.
Thank you. Please go ahead with your comment.
Okay, well, I'm here representing my little food bank in Sparta. It's out of the Hope of Sparta Church. I'm the director there. And as many of you have heard the least of these commercials, they serve about 900 families a month. Our little church takes on some of the overspill from them who don't have proper paperwork or whatever. So we serve anywhere from 50 to 100 families a month. On average, anywhere from 5 to 7 people in those families, which we're self-funded. And I'm thinking if we have this kind of a rate increase, I don't see how any of these people are going to afford 30 to 40%. We're not exactly hurting, but 30 to 40% is going to take a dent in our wallets too. And it's also going to, it's going to put more stress on our tiny little food bank, which we don't have much of a budget because we are a small church. And I'm afraid I'm going to have to be telling people, I'm sorry, I can't give you any food because we just don't have any left. I don't want to do that to anybody. I take it out of my own cabinet to provide food for some of these families because sometimes they don't have anything. And it makes me almost cry, some of these people that we go to see and how they're living. It's, I just don't see how any of them are going to afford this. And I don't want to see it hurt the kind of help that we are trying to provide to the community. So that's that.
Thank you, Ms. Arledge. I appreciate you being here today to share that with us. And Mr. Arledge, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And please state and spell your name for our court reporter.
Leo Arledge. Leoarledge. Lady before me just happens to be my wife. Okay, I am an alderman for Ward 1 of Sparta. As such, I already know people are struggling to pay their utility bills in Sparta. If you raise this 40%, it is going to force people to choose between cooling or heat, eating or not eating. And as far as the ladies were saying that the electricity would bring more business, we all know electricity does not bring in business. Gas, natural gas will bring in business. Electricity is at this point a stopgap measure for Sparta. If you raise it, you will kill a lot of small businesses in Sparta because they will not be able to afford it. And we don't have that much anyway. Okay? Questions?
Thank you. I appreciate that. I wasn't ready for that, Ms. Arledge. I appreciate that. Were there any questions? Hearing none. Thank you. I appreciate you coming out today. We have Jean McFall, Audrey Grobe, I apologize, and then Seth Ramming. Ms. McFall, thank you. I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. If you could state and spell your name for the record.
Jeannie McFall, JeanneMcFall. I think my main concern today is with the 39%, almost 40% increase. We are here in Nixa. Nixa is a supplier of electricity, not Empire in this area or Liberty. Their rate is 0.10980. What we are looking to have, if this would go through, is 0.19531, which is almost double of what somebody living in the city of Nixa is paying today. The Missouri average is 0.1289, and that's on the city utilities website. So we're looking at almost double what other regions are paying. So that's something to take into consideration. Why do we need that big of increase? I think the biggest problem I've had with Liberty since April, they did electronic meters. They changed their computer system. Their billing system is out of line. They have not corrected these issues. They do have a new administrator that was hired 3 weeks ago, but I did make a request prior to this meeting to get the outages that I've experienced on my meter within the last year. That wasn't available until 12/11 today. That took over a month to get that information because my meter wouldn't recognize that. I have called in for outages at least 3 times in the last year. The last time I was on hold for 45 minutes because it didn't recognize my phone number. Come to find out my phone number wasn't acceptable because nobody had checked the box that said USA in front of it. But that's a computer issue, not mine. That's a company issue. I have been at the same address all but 1 year of my life. My phone hasn't changed. My location hasn't changed. The company has changed. And they need to look at the billing issues, the extra postage that they have charged, the extra customer service time that's been involved. And now we're having to pay for it because of that. The last meeting I attended was at Ozark, which was a different issue than the rate increase. But we have 9 streetlights that were out that evening when I went home. Those 9 streetlights are still out on 3rd and South Street. They are not taking care of business. The future development in Ozark is looking at other utility companies. The new development across from Walmart is going with White River Electric. The new development behind James River Assemblies of God is looking at Ozark Electric. They are not wanting to use the electric company. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. If I appreciate everybody being here and showing their support. If we can maybe hold off on the applause, that gets us through the witnesses a little faster so that all of your neighbors can have their say. Ms. Grove? Thank you, ma'am. If you would, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And if you could please state and spell your name for our
Okay.
court reporter.
Audrey, Audrey. Last name is Grobe, Grob as in boy E.
Thank you, Ms. Grobe. Please go ahead.
Okay, I'm a resident of Ozark, have been for about 4 years. One of my comments is, you're asking for more money, but I am still paying for a 2007 storm that occurred when my house was not even built. There are hundreds of other houses that were built since then. That tells me you've been getting paid for a storm that happened in 2007 for 18 years. And there are hundreds of more houses that are paying that. Why are you needing more money? That shouldn't even be on my bill now. That's just crazy. And you told me that earlier that you're putting in a new program where you're going to pay people who have not been able to pay their bill. Well, who's paying that? We are. That's not fair. I just happen to be a senior citizen. I worked for 52 years before I retired. I am on a fixed income. I get a 2.5% raise. You're asking for 30. Inflation is not near that. Why do you think that you need that much money? You don't. You need to run your business better. I can give you an example of a place where you didn't run your business well at all. We had 3 trees behind our fence that were in the lines. Your people come out and they trim the top of them out. We told them, you can take the tree out so you don't have to come back. Oh no, we can't do that. We paid $3,000 to get those trees taken out, and it was your responsibility. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Grobe. I appreciate you being here and bringing your comments. Seth Ramming?
Yes,
Thank you, sir. I was hoping I pronounced it correctly. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And would you please state and spell your name for the court reporter?
My name is Seth Ramming, SETH space RAMMING.
Thank you. Please go ahead with your comments.
Hi, I'm a 27-year-old resident of the city of Sparta. I live I own a home there in the 25% sector that Liberty Utility owns. When I saw this paper here, I was immediately ready to see what I can do to switch over to White River Electric Company. I'm just going to call it what it is. This is absolute price gouging through and through. I mean, 40%. I mean, you're looking at an average of what most people actually get in their wage increases is about 3 to 6%. This is really just a lot. Here, I'm closer to the PSC staff recommendation. Personally, I agree with the Office of Public Counsel that there shouldn't be any increase. The $3 fuel transfer fee that they're talking about here over on the next page, I do agree with. That's only a $3 increase. That doesn't bother me too much. But personally, I'm more on the side of PSC staff recommendations. That's more equitable. Sparta is about a town of 2,000 people. There's a lot of low-income people. There's a lot of disabled people. There's a lot of people who are on Social Security. There's basically low income. Personally, I don't really feel like this is actually going to do very well for people who live there, nor do I really feel like it's going to do well for business. And when we talk about something like this, we have to consider not only the residents, but we have to consider the economy. I don't really feel like this is going to do well for the economy. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to make outrageous claims or debate with anyone, but this is just how it is. God bless the people of Missouri. God bless the United States.
Thank you, Mr. Ramming. I appreciate you being here. Let me go ahead and call the next few names. I believe it's spelled M-I-R-E. Batz, B-A-T-Z. And then a Kathy Coons. And then Rick Hagan. Does that first name ring a bell to anyone? That sure looks like the last name starts with a B. Okay, I'll circle back around. Ms. Coons, please go ahead and step up to the microphone. I will swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And if you would please state and spell your name for the court reporter.
My name is Kathy Coons, KathyCoons.
Thank you, Ms. Coons. Please go ahead with your comment.
I think the question is why a company that gives its CEO and top executives large compensation packages has shown good profits for the past several years, who has spent money on acquisitions and buying back of stock shares, would need to force such a large increase on its captive customer base. Any company with a non-captive customer base would lose its clients to the competition. Good recent examples would be cell phone, TV, and internet companies, all of which have been forced to change their strategies due to customer loss over their incessant price increases. Logically, customer base growth should cover some cost increases in the long term, and certainly Southwest Missouri, it has and is seeing such growth. I feel I know that Liberty is asking for more than they expect to get, and if the rate increase is reduced somewhat, we're all supposed to feel like we got something. But truly, this rate increase is an abuse of the captive customer base, and the large increase request is unwarranted for a company with the strong financial position. Let them do some of the sacrificing we are being forced to take the full brunt of. When is a decent profit going to be enough? In my opinion, that will be never. That's why we have to rely on you to protect the interest of us, the captive customer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Coons. I appreciate you being here. Rick Hagan. The next couple names are Darlene Knapp and Katie Medcalf. Mr. Hagan, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And if you would please state and spell your name for the record.
Rickhagan.
Thank you, Mr. Hagan. Please go ahead with your comment.
Well, I know several of you guys were not in here for the question and answer session, but the last gentleman had asked a question, point blank asked Empire or Liberty what their profits were. They only stipulated for Empire District, but last year they had a profit of $116 million is what she stated. And you guys had also stated that they had done their updates to the dam and to one of the generating plants, or two of the generating plants. You're wanting to upgrade substations and stuff now. If you made a profit of that on top of all the expense last year, why can't you do that every year? I mean, you're wanting almost another 153 million on top of that. That'll give you starting next year, that would give, if you stayed on that same track, would give you a profit of over $300 million a year. You can't put some of that in a savings account and pay for some of your own expenses. I have to do that for my house. I just don't understand why you guys think you need that big of an increase. The rest of you guys, you're sitting there, turn around and look at that screen. It says Missouri Public Service Commission. You're here to protect the public. And if you guys approve them having this increase, you're not serving the public. That's my opinion, and everybody's entitled to that, but you guys really seriously need to think about who you are representing or who you're supposed to be representing. Thank you. Any questions for me?
Thank you, Mr. Hagan. I don't hear any.
Okay.
Appreciate you coming out today. Darlene Knapp, thank you, ma'am. Please come on down. I will swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes,
Thank you. And if you would please state and spell your name for the record.
Darlene Knapp, simple, N-A-P.
Thank you, Ms. Knapp. Please go ahead with your comment.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I was at the town hall meeting in Ozark. My question is, without really an answer, how is it that you want to go ahead and request an increase in rates? Yeah, we haven't even addressed because it's under investigation for all the billing errors. Not just about late billing combined, but about a huge erroneous billings. I had an $800 bill combined in 4 days due line. I moved into the apartment in January. So January bill's $398, and then February bill's $297. It's just me living there. I'm hardly there. I'm working 12-hour shifts as a nurse. All that said and done, I'm told, oh, check your appliances. It's a brand new facility at Finley Ridge. That's why I moved there. And then they'd be like, oh, it's maybe the meter. Nobody ever came to look at the meter until I went to the town meeting. Then, of course, they had immediately set that up and somebody came out. He didn't explain to me how the meter works. I understand some things about a meter because I moved from Colorado to Missouri by choice. Well, that was my choice. I planned it for 6 years. And then I arrived, but I'm thinking about when we had this employee here from Texas, when I was in Colorado. I know you guys would know about that with the meter changes issues that happened in Texas. And then Colorado was bombarded with serious increased rates when they put their meters in. And now I'm seeing all this going on with all this talk. The rates were double, triple, just like my electric bill was tripled, even though we didn't have maybe we had the new meters put in. I don't know. I moved here last year. But all that said and done, yeah, having brought her in from Texas from 3 weeks ago, I took note of that, like, you're asking for a rate increase, and then you have this employee. And again, I went through all of that in Colorado last year. In closing, I'm 65. I'm not retired, but I'm on Social Security for a death. So therefore, Social Security does limit my income. It's $1 out of 2. Yes, I already received a letter from them for not being a hero, but having to be stuck working as a nurse because agency didn't show up, doing no show, no call. Now I got to pay half of that back for the couple extra shifts. I was kind of forced to work because they can't leave my patients. That's neglect. Okay, moving right along. I am on limited income. And looking at all of this, do I really want to stay in Ozark? No, I've already researched. I can only work part-time again with the limited income restrictions. I can make $1,900 a month. Oh, okay, let me just give up my salary for $1,900 a month and live off of beans and rice. I did all that with the David Ramsey method and paid off my debt. Now I'm all in debt again, but I'm going backwards instead of forward. Nursing homes have issues, which we're not going to talk about, but because of Medicare and Medicaid and staffing issues and stuff like that. But we're not able to do anything to address those issues, but we have to do something to give Liberty a rate increase. I don't get a rate increase as a nurse. I'm making $10 less an hour, but all that said and done, it's just a thought and process. Thank you and good day.
Thank you, Ms. Metcalf. I appreciate you being here today. We do have a question for you, Mr. Williams.
An answer.
It's just a quick one. You mentioned January and February. You didn't indicate which year.
This year, I moved into the apartment in January. December 30th, I signed a lease just to lock it in. I paid a month in January for a Nixa apartment just to give myself time to pack and purge everything.
Have you had any billing issues since then?
I didn't after March. I mean, so that was January, February, right, after March. After March, it was like $50 a month,
Thank you.
52. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Let me read the next few names. Katie, I'm sorry. That was Miss Metcalf. No, I'm sorry. Katie Metcalf, Heike Helsley. I apologize. Terry Sweeney and Gary. Thank you, sir. Miss Metcalf.
Yes.
Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Please state and spell your name for the record.
Katie Metcalf, Katie, Med as in David, CALF. I'm here today. I was actually at the Ozark one. I've had nothing but issues since they switched over to the billing. They actually did resolve it because Missouri Public Service Commission was on their butts about getting it done. But I called month after month. I couldn't access my online account. And I kept being put as a late payer. One month I got an $800 bill. I have 4 kids in my home. It's terrifying to know that my electric's gonna be turned off. I'm not a bad payer. I'm not behind anything. I have a great credit score, but I couldn't pay. I was not able to physically pay them because I couldn't get online. It was not possible. And I called month after month. They're like, oh, you're on our list. We'll get to you. Nobody's touched it. Nobody's touched it after every month. And I'm like, I just want to pay. I got into the office and paid them, but I wasn't able to see where my payments had come in. So that was really frustrating, but to find out that you guys are planning on, I looked this morning on the websites, which Liberty, by the way, they're not transparent. Unfortunately, it's the worst website to find. They didn't give me their rates. But the rest of them, White River Valley, Ozark Electric Co-op, Webster, these are my coworkers. This is what they have. And they're like, they're great. They're paying 12 cents a kilowatt, 10 cents a kilowatt. And I looked today, 10 cents a kilowatt for Webster, even City Utilities is at 11 cents. We're paying 14 to 16%, 16 cents per kilowatt roughly. And this rate increase will be 16 to 22 cents a kilowatt raise. I mean, that's double what they are paying for even the next highest levels. I mean, I won't be able to afford it. I'm already struggling. I work 4 jobs and raising my kids. I know that there's seniors that have limited income, but I also work my butt off to pay what I can, and I hate being late. I am late. I'm worried at $500 every 2 weeks trying to catch up is not going to be enough. Yeah, it just frustrates me knowing that AQN, the New York Stock Exchange, that man makes $9 million. His base salary is $900,000 a year, and the rest of it is paid in stocks. And that's what they're wanting, is they're wanting a return on investment. He's wanting more money. That's where that money is going, unfortunately, is in their pockets. It's not me. It's not my neighbors. And this business about, oh, bringing in business. No, the company I work for just watched our bill, because I do the accounting for them. It doubled. I'm like, where is this coming from? You guys raised the rate that she said in 2022, you guys raised to what, 14 cents a kilowatt? In 22, the websites that I looked today, in 25, yeah, they let them raise the rates to 10 cents to 12 cents for these other places. They raised the rates 3 years ago higher than what the rates now are, and they're even asking for even more. I just find it very frustrating that somebody's just greed. That's just what they want from us. It's just more money. It's just greed. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Metcalf. We do have a question for you.
I do.
Yes, yes. And I don't want to, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Williams, you go ahead.
All right. My question is about the time frame you had the billing issues. When did it start and when did you get resolution?
Well, I heard about they were switching over last year, and I tried to get on the online is what happened to me. And I've typed in my commission to the Public Service Commission. I've submitted that for the other case that they were in Ozark for. I did send that in, but I think it was last year. Somebody had called and taken my address out of service, and I'd been there for like several years. And I called and they couldn't find my account at first. And it took me an entire day off of work trying to figure that out to get my electric turned back on. They turned it off. Some other company had come in. And I kept trying to get online to log into the old system. It wouldn't let me. I tried logging the new system. I was like, forgot password. None of that was working. It was frustrating. So that was probably, I finally got back to try to get into the system. They hooked me back up to my service in October. And it took me October, November, December, January, February, March. What was the last meeting? Last month. So I've only had it for a month. So it's been out 7 months. I've been trying to get a hold of them to even allow me to pay my bill.
And now I'm behind. And my bill, I understand, I have 4 kids in my home. My bill is going to be higher than the average 2-person, 4-person household. I'm aware of that. But when it builds up for 8 to 10 months and I am trying to pay it and I keep trying to pay it and they keep shooting me down to pay it, like I can't be the only person. There has got to be other households that weren't paying. So if they think they don't have money, trust me, it's there. They just need to work out their billing issues to get it before they ask for more.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Metcalf. I appreciate you being here.
Hi, this is Heike Helsley.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, I do, sir.
Thank you. And please go ahead and give us your comments.
The name is Heike Helsley, and it's spelled Heike Helsley. So I'm here. I live in Ozark for 15 years, raising my family, my 2 boys. I have a house with 2,300 square foot, and I have solar. I do have my temperature down in the winter, so around 60. And I do have it at 75 now in the summertime. So I really try to conserve energy where I can. I still have a high bill, especially in the winter months. The October, December, January, February part was like almost $600 right now. So when we have the increase there of 30 or 40%, that's like outrageous. That increase, I cannot call it any different because I'm sure nobody in this room gets a 30 or 40% raise of anything, not by the bank of interest, not by the employer. Nobody does. And there's a lot of people that are on fixed incomes, and we're squeezed from all sides, not just from the electricity, of course. So bigger picture is I'm thinking I'm doing everything right to conserve. I have to have electricity because it's not where I'll say, oh, I don't have Paramount streaming service. I can live without that. I cannot live without electricity. And I conserve, but I still get hit with 30, 40%. That is just wrong. I understand everything gets a little bit more expensive. I understand that there needs to be improvements, which I would love to see some improvements in better energy, clearer energy that doesn't cost so much to get it here. But 30% is just over the top, and I don't see that is justified or acceptable. And hearing what I heard today, it makes perfect sense when we have some shareholders. But let me tell you, I worked for the biggest retailer in the country for over 20 years. And when they had their shareholder meetings, they had to tell them, okay, we did so much profit, but guess how they did it? They lived within their means. They took a look at every cost-cutting detail that they can do. And my question is, and I really question that Liberty Utility is doing that with all the issues that got on that went on last year with the billing, which I had not a proper bill since last May till this May, I guess. There was months that were skipped, and I have no idea what I made or what I used, and it's all a guesswork. And so my biggest issue with this is that it's too high, and I see no justification for it with those projects that they said that would make so much. And I don't understand why we as consumers have to pay for that so much. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Helsley. No questions. I appreciate you being here, coming out today. Terry Sweeney. Understood. And Gary Billion. Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And if you would please state and spell your name for the court reporter.
Gary Blue, Garybillieu.
Mr. Ballou, please go ahead with your comment.
Pretty much just wanted to give my position where I'm at. I'm a small business owner from Sparta. I've had my business since 2019. It's been March 16th when I started it. I've got my own home. I am solely responsible for all of my bills. I share 50% custody of my daughter, Charlotte. So I do pay child support on top of that. Being a small business owner, I have excavator payment. I do dictate my own income, and it depends on how much I want to work. Luckily, I had the freedom to come here today. I'm sure a lot of people don't because they have to pay their electric bill. As it is right now, I'm already around $600 behind on my electric bill. If I get $1,000 behind on my child support, I lose my license. It takes priority over having electric to me and being able to maintain everything. So I have to have my excavator to pay for my house. There's certain things that take priority over certain things, but it just gets more and more difficult to keep up with everything, especially with the increase on that. It'd be kind of hard. I did a couple quick Google searches while I was listening to the question portion of everything, and it said that the CEO of Liberty Utilities owns 72% of the shares for the company, and he's worth $172 million. An average chairperson makes anywhere from $270,000 to $313,000 a year. And I feel like it's just kind of like a cash grab. Like people like me, I go out and lift retaining wall blocks all day and break my back. Whereas somebody in their shoes has the $1 million to invest to make $1 million or $10 million invest and make $1 million back if they're at their 10% they're requesting. But it's pretty much all I got. I just wanted to share my position.
Thank you, Mr. Malou. Appreciate you coming out today. I'll read the next three names. Dawn. It's a hyphenated last name. I apologize. Thomas Franiak. I apologize again. And Chuck Hirsch. I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Please state and spell your name for the court reporter.
It's Dawn Whitcomb Plumto, DAWNWHITCOMBPLOMTEAUX.
Thank you, Ms. Whitcomb Planteau.
It's fine. Don't worry. It's fine.
Please go ahead with your comments.
Obviously, we're all in agreement. This rate increase is beyond belief. And personally, I don't care what their stockholders get. Any stocks and investments in my life, when we lost them, oh, well. When they didn't perform correctly, oh, well, you either pull your money and reinvest or you move on and take your losses, okay? Having owned multiple businesses in my life with increases, freight increases, problems with shipping, you learn to adjust. Every business in the world has a formula of how much you should be charging to make a profit. Every franchise out there has a volume of people that need to be in your demographic before they'll sell you $1 million franchise. I had no clue in a year living in Ozark that these rates were going to be this way. I can't get a straight answer when I do call. Can't get them to fix problems. I just went to level pay. They still haven't fixed it. 2 months in a row. And then tell me I can call my bank and make sure my bank did it. I'm not paid by Liberty to do that. Please do the job you're paid for. Please have an easy phone system so I can get a hold of somebody. And truly, on top of all that, my serious concern is that if the commission allows Liberty to increase rates this way, our next one will be our gas bill, and then it will be our water bill. Because I can on everything else. My phone, yeah, I can check. I can work around that. All these other bills I can check. And back when I was on propane a year ago, I could price out my propane companies. I could see who's going to give me the better deal. I don't get to do that with my electric bill. And where I live, even if I wanted to explore solar, I suddenly have an HOA, and I'm really sure they're not going to allow it. It's kind of in my bylaws that I signed. So, and everybody I know is on an fixed income. I don't care if you're working. You get a 50 cent an hour raise, and after taxes, that would pay your increase just on your gas bill. So what's the point? So that's it.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming out today. Mr. Franiak. Thank you.
Very good.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please state and spell your name for our court reporter.
My name is Tom Franiak, or Thomas, ThomasFraniak.
Please go ahead with your comment.
I'm a small business owner from Ozark. I own Midwest Cabinets and Design. My current business has 2 locations. I also own a house in the area. And fortunately for me, that other than my Ozark location, they are not on Liberty meters. One of the things that I was considering as I was listening to testimony is that we are forgetting that as electric rates raise, business owners and businesses will pass through those rates to their consumer. So even though we look at the rate of 40%, which would what it would be for me, I would pass it on to my consumer. My consumer, in essence, pays that rate because it becomes part of my operating expenses. So as what happens is all these people behind me, they now get an increase in cost of living because every business in the area that is on that meter will raise their rate, their pricing. That's all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. No questions. I appreciate you coming out today. Chuck Hirsch.
Hi. How are
Thank
you?
you. Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. Please state and spell your name for our court reporter.
My name is Chuck Hirsch, Chuck Hirsch.
Please go ahead with your comment.
So I have 2 comments, and I'll keep it within the 3 minutes. First, I'll give you my billing story. I moved into a newly constructed home last October in Ozark. I never got a bill. I called. They said, oh, it takes 5 or 6 weeks. You'll get a bill. Never got a bill. I called. They said, oh, be patient. You'll get a bill. I went to the office. I said, I'm not getting a bill. So the gal at the office looked up my account. She said, they're reading your meter, but it's labeled unbillable. Okay. She said, there's a gal in the back office who's in a meeting that will send an email to Joplin. And the last time this happened, we had it fixed by the end of the day. Never got a bill. I ended up calling Joplin, talked to a very nice lady there, explained the whole thing. She said, I'll take care of it. I said, I'm not calling you again. If you want my money, send me a bill. Never got a bill. So I looked up and I found you folks online as my cavalry to help me. So I filed an informal complaint. And lo and behold, within 2 weeks, I have a bill. So shame on Liberty. Thank you to my cavalry for getting this squared away. And I'm assuming that my bills are correct ever since then. Although they're high, I've learned that it's just expensive around here. So that's my billing story. My point of asking you, or my testimony is, they're asking, in round numbers, are asking for $150 million, which is approximately a 30% increase. The commission is recommending 120, where did it go? 120 million, which is a 30%, a 20% reduction of what they're asking for. So a 20% reduction of 30% increase is a 24% increase. So you're recommending a 24% increase. They're asking 30. You are our cavalry. You are here to help us. I am asking you, I am even begging you to not even go to 24%. I'd love a 0%. I can live with a single digit increase. So I'm asking you not to approve a 30, not to approve a 24, but something more reasonable that we can all live with, which would be, in my opinion, 10% or less. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hirsch. I appreciate you. We do have a question. Go ahead.
Hopefully just one. When did you get your billing issue resolved?
I moved in October and it was somewhere probably February-ish
Of this year?
of this year, yes. So again, when I went to the meeting in Ozark about the billing issues, I talked to one of the gals out front, and it seems like they're reading the meter properly, because I don't know. I'm assuming that it's correct. I hear these horror stories of people who are getting 150, 200, 300, 400% increases in their bill. She told me what their system currently read for my meter reading, so I went home to check it. Well, if you've ever looked at an electric meter, there's more than one number that pops up on that baby. So as the numbers roll by, one of them was similar to what she told me, so I assume we're correct. I haven't challenged it or looked into it since then.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you all for being here very much.
Thank you, sir. I'll read the next few names on our list. Martin Montoya, Mark Sullinger, Monty Horning. Martin Montoya?
Hi, my name is Martin Montoya. I'm from the Sparta area, spelled Martinmontoya.
Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Please go ahead with your comment.
All right. I've only been in the area for about 3 years. 3 years ago, for some reason, one of the winter months, I don't know, we had billed, I don't know if it's December's or January's, we had a $500 bill. Can't figure out why. Every other month, even on the middle of summer, every other winter month, it's $200. That's great. Got that resolved 4 months later, where they actually give us a free month because we already paid so much. But we ended up getting solar 2 years ago. My average monthly bill, summer, winter, doesn't matter, is about $40. I think the worst one I had was $80, except for that same month that $500 bill came in. And it's still over $300. And the only answer they gave us, it's a fuel charge. I'm on solar. I've got 20 panels. If I'm only paying $40 and there's only a 7-degree difference, now my Mexican butt's from Arizona, so I have no problem with the heat. And my wife's cold-blooded Missourian who has no problem with the cold. But that's insane. It's what, $300 difference because of fuel? In 2 years, gas hasn't gone up over $3 a gallon. There's a problem. And as far as being resolved, it hasn't. We keep getting the whole, oh, it's a fuel thing, and that's it. In fact, I was just talking to somebody here, and they brought it to one of their employees. They couldn't even find my address. 557 Sunset Street, Sparta, Missouri. Not hard. I'm a gun owner. You guys can all show up. I don't care. But the point is they can't even find my address. They won't resolve the issues. It's an insane markup. And they're asking for more. No, I'm all down with the whole capitalist thing. Give it to them. But let us have somebody else we can choose. Anybody else. I don't care. Anybody. You know, the whole point of our country is no monopolies, is my point here. And I can't, and like I said, Sparta, like the other guy said, I can't get anybody else. I've called every other company. And they say, well, we don't own anything there. We can't help you. We can't give you electricity. I don't know what else to do. And I can't get off the grid. It's illegal for me to cut the line and put up a windmill to add to my solar. What am I supposed to do? What is anybody here supposed to do? And I'm also, even though I work every day, 10, 12 hours a day, I may just be a door dasher. My wife may just work a normal blue collar job, making $16 an hour. But if you haven't looked at the numbers, unless you make $40,000, you're in poverty, which means almost everybody in my town's in poverty. It just doesn't work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Montoya. I appreciate you being here. Mr. Sullinger?
That's correct.
Thank you. Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. That is not your timer. Please go ahead with your comments.
Mark Sullinger, Sullinger. So first off, I would like to thank you all for being here. And I'm appreciative of Liberty having the willingness to all be here as well. And, during the Q&A, they should all probably get a Purple Heart after all these meetings. But, it's important that the public be able to speak. And I appreciate the fact that if you don't want to ask questions and you didn't sign up to speak, if you go to the psc.mo.gov, you can still type in your comments, put comments in there, and they will see those comments. So I would suggest or encourage everyone to do that. So my questions are really more about not only the rate increase that was asked for, because it is quite, I don't want to use the word outrageous, but it's very high compared to, what happens. Is it something that we asked for 40% and we are happy with 20, right? Is that the corporate strategy for being able to go to the, PSC and get, a negotiation going, right? And actually have less. If I look at the CPI, if I look at 2.7 for June, if I look at the GDP at 3.0 by the end of the year, I look at where we're at from an inflationary perspective, as well as wage increases and what people are able to take home. How are they going to be able to do a 40% increase, which I'm hoping is completely off the table? I agreed with the Office of Public Counsel that we really need to make sure we're looking out for the citizens of Missouri, and in particular in this case, right, in Southwest Missouri, and taking care of them in a manner that they're going to still be able to put food on the table 3 weeks out of, or 4 weeks out of the month, not 3 out of 4. If you take $50, which was the average increase in, that was calculated in a lot of examples, that might be a week's worth of food for somebody on Social Security or fixed income, right? What are we going to do? We're going to send out a letter and say, hey, we decided you can't eat the 4th week of this month, but go ahead and eat the first 3 weeks, right? So we need to be careful about thinking on people who cannot afford this type of an increase, right? It is large. So if I want to try and do something, I would also ask for transparency, right? I think that there should be some significant audits to take a look at things. Where are they? Where is Liberty? What have they made? What are they really doing? What is the executive, the top 10, 15? What's their exec comp, right? What have they been able to do? When we look at CapEx on what they say they've spent, where did that actually go, right? We want 22 new substations. Where are they, right? I don't want this generic business plan. I want a very specific business plan that tells me what they received 46.7 or $47 million out of the DOE at the end of 2023 under the GRIP grant. Where did that money go? How did you allocate that money? So where is it, right? $15 million in profit after. Go ahead.
Your time has expired, sir.
Really?
You could
I
finish
could talk a
your
long time. So, okay, I'll stop. But again, thank you guys for all being here. So.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you being here today. Monty Horning, Sherry Horning, Mark. It's a hyphenated last name for Mark. Freeze. Oh, I'm sorry. It is not a hyphenated name. That is your place of employment. Mark, I think it's Freeze. Mr. Horning, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. If you would please state and spell your name for our court recording.
Horning, Montehorning.
Thank you. Please go ahead with your comment.
My comments will be rather brief because you guys have already heard everything I wanted to say. I hope you were listening. I do want to say to the Office of the Public Counsel, thank you for your position on this. To the PSC staff, I cannot understand, given the fact that there was an investigation opened into them, how you guys would be willing to give any increase at this point. You guys work for us. See that emblem up there? United we stand, we the people. I think you've heard enough. I'm sure every other meeting you've been to has been just like this. So listen to the people that you're working for. You've already heard the trickle-down economics, the impact it's going to have, not just with electric bills, but then somebody goes to Walmart to get groceries. Well, Walmart's electric bills went up. They're going to pass that along. The gas station that takes electric to pump the gas rates will go up. Everything that uses electricity that is a consumer product will have to figure out how they're going to offset this cost. And as one gentleman already said, most of that's going to be passed on to the consumer. The consumer that's already got a 40% electric increase that they're trying to figure out how to address. So I'm asking you guys to hear us, the people that have spoken, and at this point deny this rate increase until Liberty gets it together. I'm a resident of Ozark. I've been to several of the alderman meetings and tried to get them to address the streetlight situation in Ozark. Those are supplied and serviced by Liberty Electric, and the city tells us, we the people, when we go to our representatives and say, why do the streetlights not work? Well, we call Liberty Electric and they won't do anything about it. There's people that can tell you about outage after outage after outage. There would be people that would be much more inclined to not speak against a rate increase if the service was not so horrible. And that's really all I've got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Horning. I appreciate you being here. We'll call Sherry Horning. Thank you, ma'am. Let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. If you could please state and spell your name for our court reporter.
Sherry Horning, CHERRIE, HORNING.
Thank you, ma'am. Please go ahead with your comment.
First of all, I would just want to say thank you to everybody that showed up, that's taken time out of their day, and for all of you. And I'm probably not going to say anything either that you've not heard already, but I do feel compelled to be here, and I do feel compelled to speak for a lot of people that feel like they don't have a voice. Over my many years in the working field, I have worked with a lot of different populations. I have worked in group homes. I have worked in social services. I have worked in hospitals. I have worked in billing. And I have seen a lot. And I have seen a lot of economic stress and financial difficulty with many, many groups of people. I currently live in Ozark. We have lived in this area for over 25 years. We've lived in 3 different states and had lots of different utility companies. And I do have to say that we are Liberty customers for the electric, and it is the highest electric bill I have ever paid in my life. I was going to discuss some billing issues, but I don't feel that that's nearly important as the rest of what needs to be said. I volunteer a lot with social service agencies that are in Christian County. I've had many meetings with Christian County Homeless Alliance and with our local OCAC. And if you want statistics and facts, they can give them to you about the homeless population in Christian County and what we call people living on the edge. I see if this rate increase goes through, we're going to have many, many more people on the edge and many, many more homeless that need to be served. And the issue with that is services are already being stretched.
I don't know if you are aware or not, but local food banks and local food pantries have suffered a loss in grants and money that they are able to get from government sources. Their funding has been cut. So not only is there an increase right now because of the economy, but if this horrendous rate increase would go through, I can't imagine what it would do to those people that are already homeless and the people that are just hanging on. And there's another word for those people that are just barely hanging on are called the working poor. This could be a young couple with children or people that are just starting out that are young, or could be senior citizens. They don't have a lot to work with, and their budget is being pushed from every possible direction. So you throw something like this at these people, and they have no recourse. They make a decision like what's already been said. Am I going to put food on the table, or am I going to heat the house?
Ms. Horning, if you could finish your thought, your time has expired.
I was afraid of that. I just want to put some thoughts out there. Hopefully, maybe something will come of it. Maybe it's time to have the state of Missouri request that Liberty Utility Company be audited and see what's actually happening with all these billing errors and all this extra money that's being made. It doesn't seem like it's running correctly, running like a business should. It's definitely not servicing their customers. And
Ms.
also,
Horning, I really hate to cut you off, but we do need to move to the other witnesses. If you could please finish up.
I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here. We have a handful of witnesses left, and we are coming up close on the 3 o'clock hour. Mark Freeze. I certainly might have the last name wrong. They would work at Cox. Okay, Larry Johnson. Mike. Thank you. Meisler, please come on down. I'll swear you in. Next will be AJ Barnes and then Paula Clark. Mr. Meisler, do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you, sir. And would you please state and spell your name for our court reporter, please?
Sure. Mike, M-I-K-E, Meisler, M-I-E-S-E-L-E-R.
Mr. Meisler, please go ahead with your comment.
Well, we don't want to even talk about the billing problem because it started back in 17 for the most part. And if you want to know all about it, I was at the Ozark thing, so you can get it there. But I just think what this company needs is some accountability. God's sakes, $152 million? Holy crap, man. I'm really nervous and ready to blow, but anyway, I just think they need some accountability. It just seems like there isn't any, and they should do better at it. I know there's ways to save money. I could go into some deeper things, but I won't. And basically, my billing problem, the SAP computer system, the $1 billion computer system, are we going to have another line item on our bill about that to pay for it over 25 years, like the ice storm and the tear down of the plant? Tearing down a perfectly good plant. Why are we paying for it? I know it's all legislature. I get it. So apparently we need to change some voices up above. But I guarantee you they probably cannot. Well, the one lady was talking about basically, can we, if Canada says no more electricity, can we generate enough to feed the customers here? I'm going to probably say no, especially if the wind's not blowing and the sun's not shining. So I just think there's got to be some accountability. I understand that there's a cost of doing business. I get it. I know it takes a lot to change a pole out or something like that. A transformer's very expensive and you can't hardly get them. But this is just ridiculous to get this chunk all in one whack. So I'm just going to let other people speak, and because I just completely went blank. But anyway, I'll just let everybody else speak. So thank you
I
very much.
appreciate that, sir. Don't tell anybody it happens to me too. We don't have any questions. I appreciate you being here, Mr. Easler. Next, we have AJ Barnes. And after that will be Paula Clark. Mr. Barnes, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And if you would please state and spell your name for our court reporter.
Yeah, AJ Barnes. That's Barnes. My first name's Anthony, Anthony.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yeah, so I'm actually new to the area. I've come from Springfield, Missouri. I moved about 7-8 months ago. I moved here with my daughter. She's actually in the room right now. Thinking this would be like a much safer environment. I grew up in Springfield, and then her family's in Christian County. One of the first things I noticed, first billing, I right away contact Liberty, say, hey, I want to put a auto draft on my account. Customer service didn't seem to be very great. I went behind a couple bills, not because there was a lack of money, but because they just refused to take my account information. The other thing was like very pressing. I noticed a power line just laying out in the middle of the street. And so, of course, like immediately I'm going to call and say, hey, can you guys, and they actually have a direct line where you can press like 1 or 2. And it's like, if there's a down power line, contact, like press 1 or 2, and then they'll take you to the person that'll get that taken care of. So first thing I do is try and get that taken care of. Few months go by, there's still a power line, and she's 7, about to be 8. I teach her how to ride her bicycle. She rides her bicycle on the street. I call 2 more times. Still nothing. There's just a power line just laying out in the middle of the street. Mind you, I have to pay the bills by calling in. I can't get auto draft set up with them. Still waiting on auto draft actually currently. I believe I'm a month behind because I'm new. I don't know when the bill is supposed to be paid. I just know that I have direct deposit, and I also have a bank account they just auto drafted from my account. But the safety issue, which is like the most concerning to me, is it took 7 or 8 months. And when I finally talked to the lady on the phone, she tried to argue with me about might be the cable company or whatever. And I said, well, what if my daughter runs over this live power line and she gets electrocuted and dies? Is that just not your concern? You can't contact the cable company? Surely enough, I see about a week ago, the line has finally been cut and stapled to the power line. And I'm looking at it. It is not a cable. It does not go to the, I don't have television in my house. We go on lots of walks. It's another thing I'm noticing. We go on a lot of evening walks with me and my daughter. And we live like right downtown Ozark, Missouri. Why are the street lights not on? I live in Springfield City Utilities, which I don't know if you guys heard earlier today at the Q&A. They charge like a 0.9 at City Utilities, and then over here with Liberty, they're charging 1.3, which is a 30% more than the surrounding areas, and yet they want to charge 30% more on top of that, so 60% per kilowatt hour, and they're not even doing their job. They're not fixing the street lights. They're not getting live hazardous power lines out of the street. I'm not even sure if it was really Liberty that cut the line and stapled it to the post, because I could do that. My neighbor could do that. And there's 2 other houses in front of me and next door to me that also have children that play in that street. And it's just extremely concerning for the safety and welfare of the children in this city and this county. And I just don't feel like that is a concern at all to Liberty.
Thank you, Mr. Barnes. I appreciate that. I don't see any questions for you. I appreciate you coming out today and letting us know about that. Paula Clark. Ms. Clark, let me swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And if you would please state and spell your name for our court reporter.
Paula Clark, Paula-Clark.
Thank you. Please go ahead with your comment.
Yes. I do realize that Liberty Utilities is owned by Algonquin Power and Utility Corporation, they are physically buying utility companies throughout the United States, which if they ask for 30% to 40% increase here, they're also asking for that with all of the other utility companies that they are acquiring. So this is a profit. The shareholders, BlackRock, Vanguard Group, just to mention a few. There's US Small Cap Corp, many other that you see listed on the New York Stock Exchange, that they're making money. Here in this community, we cannot afford that type of increase. I know when you ask for a 50 cents, maybe you would settle for 30, maybe you'd settle for 20. In this area, we can't wobble like that. We can't be in a state of wondering, what will our bill be next month? What will our electricity cost us next year? I know for us, my household personally, there's just the two of us. We didn't turn our air conditioning on until August of last year because we couldn't afford the electricity. It was like throwing money into the wind when we could use that money for other bills. We could use the money for savings. We could use the money to save for future events that might happen. The car might break down. So we run our household like a business, which I think that Liberty maybe should run their household account a little tighter. This year, because of the heat advisory, they're calling it, I believe, an extreme heat advisory. We do have our air on. We turned it on in July. Just this month, we turned it on. I have a picture, if you want to see it, of our thermostat at 11:12 p.m. last night. I took a picture of our thermostat just for this meeting. It's set at 78 degrees at 11:12 last night. I never turn it below 78 because of the cost of the electricity. Think of the seniors, think of the young parents in the community that cannot afford an increase like what you're asking for. I do have a question that I cannot figure out what it is, can't find an answer to. On my bill, it's called the February 2021 Storm and Asbury costs. This has been on my bill for some time now. What is that?
Ms. Clark, I appreciate you being here to offer your testimony. I don't see any questions being asked of you. Myself and the commissioners aren't allowed to answer questions for the same reason that we couldn't be at that question and answer portion, because they're still making the decision. So I have to wait for the evidence to come in.
That's fine.
However, this room is filled with people who can answer that exact question for you. If you would probably stick around to the end of the meeting, I'm positive that we can find somebody to help you out with that.
Okay. My point being, if they're still charging me for something that happened in 2021, Why are you asking for an increase? The Missouri Public Service Commission, please consider the people in this area, whether they're young, whether they're middle-aged with a family, whether they're seniors. Can we afford this much of an increase?
Thank you, Ms.
Thank
Clark.
you.
I appreciate you being here. We are down to our last 6 witnesses or so, and we should finish right at about 3 o'clock. So thank you, everyone, for helping out. The next few names, I have Clarence Clark Jr., Earl Burke, and Jerry Burtus. Clarence Clark Jr.? Thank you, sir. I'll go ahead and swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you, sir. If you could spell and state your name for our court reporter.
Clark, C-L-A-R-K.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. Go ahead with your comment.
Well, I was wondering about, thank you all for being your first line of defense for all the people. And when you think about all the people you represent and out to protect, whether it's old people not having to heat or deciding whether they're going to eat or whether they're going to pay their utility bills, think about that too. But I'm not going to be around a whole lot long myself, but people get caught with a double whammy. When you go to buy, property values went down too. If you increase utilities, it's much more than what there are in other places. Taxes and utilities, people always check before they buy something. And people get caught with their property values will go down too if the utility is too expensive. But I think pretty well everybody's pretty well covered all the rest of stuff. But this company's buying other utilities all over the country. And I'm sure you're all very familiar with what all they do. You've been setting these deals before for the water and electricity and gas. And they want to control everything, looks like. Either they're very greedy or mismanaged, one of the two, or they wouldn't need all this money. That's about all I got to say, and thank you all for what you do. And think about yourself. We all got to answer hereafter.
Thank you, Mr. Clark. I appreciate you being here. Earl Burke. Thank you, Mr. Burke. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. And if you would please state and spell your name for our court reporter.
Earl Burke, E-A-R-L-B-U-R-K.
Thank you, sir. Please go ahead with your comment.
I had questions and answers and didn't necessarily intend to appear before the hearing, but there's 3 things I should mention probably. I did have the experience with billing. I hopefully think it's resolved, but I believe it was in the March billing area in April. I numbered each one I received in the mail. There were 11. And there was one that appeared to be valid and I paid it. And the next month I did not get credit for it. And so they added 2 months together. So that's just my experience. Secondly, there was a big challenge in electrical workers. I worked for and retired from the electrical industry or the utility industry, and I know keeping linemen was a challenge. Well, Liberty, they had the ability to do this, and I would have done the same thing, but a lot of guys went there because it was $10 an hour increase just for that. Now, in the utility industry, it's built in, okay? If the supervisor sees that the subordinate gets that kind of increase, then there's always a built-in percentage that you've got to have differential, based on HR rules. And so you see that any time that there is a increase in cost, it gets elevated on up. And so those costs are at the discretion of the company in a lot of ways. But yet, having good linemen is very much important, and I Of anybody in the utility, I respect linemen very much, having worked with them quite a bit. And then just something to consider with the elevation in the cost at these magnitudes. None of us know how many people are saying that heat is elective already. But what's going to happen when you do this even more? You know, Texas had an experience just a few years ago, wasn't very long ago. People froze in their homes. So just a question to consider. I appreciate your service and listening, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Burke. I appreciate you coming out today. Jerry Burtis. Elizabeth Jones. Sam Peterson. Janet Johnson. Ms. Johnson, come on down to our podium and I'll swear you in. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give is the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And would you please state and spell your name for our court reporter?
Janet Johnson, JanetJohnson.
Thank you. Please go ahead with your comment.
Well, I've been listening to everybody today and I'm not going to go over anything else. It's just, there's a lot that I learned today and it just seems to me like I'm getting my house ready to sell and I've lived in Ozark for 22 years. My husband passed away a couple of years ago. So now I'm on, I don't make as much money as we used to, but I think if this goes through, I'm going to have to move somewhere else and not Ozark. Somewhere, I guess, I didn't know that we were the highest in electricity because I can barely do electricity now. It's just me. I own my own home, but I'm raising my grandson who's 10 and I get, Social Security and VA, but not a lot. So like, I'm not on you can make this much to get, food stamps and stuff like that. I make a little bit over it. So I can't get it or anything. And, it's just, I think I won't be the only one that leaves from the people that I heard today. And I'd like to stay here because my grandson's gone to school and he's starting middle school now. And, he has all his friends here, but, it's between that or eating ramen every night. So, I just wanted you to know that I'd probably move if it goes up. And, when you guys are all barbecuing this week, just think of me, at home with our, kids and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches now and what it's going to be like then. Okay? That's all.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson, for sharing those details. The last name I have on my list, and then I will ask if there's anyone else in the crowd who did not sign up that would like to testify. Joshua Neal. Okay, that is all the names I have on my list. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to testify? This young gentleman is coming forward. Let me swear you in, sir. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth?
Yes.
Thank you. And please go ahead and give me your name.
Representative Jamie Ray Gregg, last name's Gragg.
Thank you, Representative. Go ahead.
Thank you. First, I'd like to start off by saying thank you for drawing the short straw, because I know you guys have probably had a very fun time today. But just the fact that liberty's definition, the definition of the word liberty is the state of being free from society from oppressive restrictions. That just kind of speaks volumes. Maybe they need to go back to the name empire a little bit. But I just wanted to come up and say, for the last hour or so, 2 hours now, you've heard, or some of you have heard, what the people behind me are saying. These are my constituents that live in my district, and and some of them rambled because they're not used to public speaking. Some of them had facts and statistics and spoke very eloquently. Ultimately, everybody here shared from the heart, and they shared what is true and what is real in their lives. And I just ask that you please take that into consideration, take it to heart. This may be a large gathering of people in this room. They filled it up, but there are many of those who could not be here because of the time. Those restrictions also did keep people from being here, being at noon on a work day, of course, first and foremost, when they're at work trying to make a living. They couldn't be here for that. So please consider that this is, boy, maybe a small group. It's a full room, but it's just a portion of those folks who would have been here had this not been at a restrictive time for them to be here. So again, thank you very much for being here and listening. I just hope that this does do some good. So thank you.
Thank you, Representative. I appreciate you being here. Having no further witnesses, we are ready for any closing remarks. Chair Hahn.
I just want to say what Ms. Horning said earlier, which was thank you all for being here. This was in the middle of the day. We know many folks work jobs and don't have the opportunity to come. We do have other local public hearings, in this case, in the evenings. We try to scatter our local public hearings across the jurisdiction to make sure that we can hear from everyone. So this evening, we will be in Bolivar at 6 p.m. Tomorrow we'll be in Branson at noon, and on Thursday we'll be in Aurora at noon and 6 p.m. If you can't make the local public hearings in person, we also have virtual local public hearings. So again, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. virtual, you can call in, and then also on Friday at noon. So hopefully you have an opportunity. If you didn't, or you have friends that want to comment, you can let us know. Also, you can go online and put your comments online, and we can make those part of the case record as well. We know your time is very valuable, and we take all the comments that were said today to heart. I also have family that live in this area, so it's actually a pleasure for me to be here and with you all today. And on behalf of the entire commission, we thank you for your comments.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to echo the chair's thanks and also make sure and give you the details for submitting any written comments. If you would like to submit written comments, or someone you know who couldn't be here would like to submit comments, you can go to the PSC's webpage, and that's psc.mo.gov. In the upper right-hand corner of that page is a link that says submit comments, and that's the link that you want. Just make sure to include this case number. This case number is ER 2024-0261. If you have questions and would like to contact the Office of the Public Counsel, their email is mopco@opc.mo.gov. That's mopco@opc.mo.gov. This hearing is now adjourned, and we are off the record. Thank you all for coming out today.